What did Jesus mean by binding and loosing? Jesus said in Matthew 16:19, "Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Again in Matthew 18:18, he said the same thing to all the disciples. But what does this mean? To understand it, we need to know what the terms bind and loose meant in the first century. In Jewish rabbinic tradition, to bind meant to forbid something, to say, "This is not permitted under God's law." To loose meant to permit something, to say, "This is allowed according to God's word." So these weren't random spiritual actions. They were legal, ethical decisions. Rabbis would bind or loose in order to apply God's law to everyday life. When Jesus uses these terms, he's giving his disciples a similar kind of spiritual authority, not to make up new laws, but to rightly interpret and apply his teachings in real situations. In Matthew 16, Jesus tells Peter, "I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven." That image comes from Isaiah 22, where a steward is given keys as a sign of authority to act on the king's behalf. Peter, and eventually all the apostles, are being entrusted with that same kind of authority on behalf of King Jesus. Then in Matthew 18, Jesus expands that authority to all his followers, especially in the context of church discipline. When the church addresses sin, corrects, forgives, or restores someone, it is participating in heaven's work on earth. And here's something powerful. The Greek verb tense literally reads, "Whatever you bind on earth shall have been bound in heaven." In other words, the church is not telling heaven what to do. The church is recognizing and declaring what heaven has already decided. Binding and loosing, then, is not about control, it's about alignment. It's the church acting under Christ's authority to apply his word with wisdom, grace, and truth. So when Jesus says, "Whatever you bind or loose," he's calling his followers to carry out God's will on earth in a way that reflects his kingdom. Was this video enlightening to you? Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to turn on notifications.